We just heard from a couple of our colleagues about some things that we are changing in the state of New York to make it so that some children who need treatment to be better can indeed be better, and I thank them for doing that. The bill that we're passing here today, the one that I'm speaking of now, does something similar, but it is about prevention, and it is a different type of prevention. In the last couple of days, we've talked about all the damage that lead causes children, Madam President. And there's a story, which is a sad story, but hopefully today it starts to have a happier ending, of a young woman named Dakota. Dakota is the daughter of one of my constituents, Tisha Jones, who is a very strong-minded, opinionated, and fantastic tenant leader in New York City Housing Authority project in my building, a development in my district. And unfortunately, Dakota, her daughter, when she was at a year old and at 2 years old, she was tested for lead, and the numbers didn't give anything away. It seemed like she was fine. Because there was no requirement that she be tested all the way up to 6 years old, like this bill that we have in front of us does, when she was tested again at 4, her blood levels have spiked from 5 micrograms to 45 micrograms per million. The point is that, unfortunately, it was at a point where the damage done to her development was going to be permanent. And Tisha, Ms. Jones, felt it was necessary to make sure that this happened to no other child. And so she worked along with my office for the last couple of years to put a bill together, and this is the first one of a package that we will be hopefully passing as a whole. But for the moment, this one deals with prevention. We still have to make sure that we deal with insurance coverage as well as lead-safe residential rental properties. But all of this is from the mind of a New York mother who knew it was essential that we change the law so that the things that happen to her daughter do not happen to any other child. So today I can tell Ms. Jones that the first part of Dakota's law is going to be passed. And I think it is incredibly important, again, to just underline that this is about making sure that we can identify very early on when a child has this lead in their system. And if we identify it early enough, not only can we make sure that that child gets taken care of, but then, Madam President, we can go and check the places where they might have been exposed to make sure that other children will be spared the issues that lead in their system can cause. So bottom line, I'm extremely happy to pass this bill today. And as I said, Madam President, it is only the first of what I hope in the next couple of years will be a series of bills that will deal with this issue. So I certainly want to make sure to thank again Ms. Tisha Jones, who worked with us to put this bill together, and, much like I did yesterday, recognize those hard-working staffers without whom none of this would happen, and thank my current Deputy Chief of Staff, Rachel Ferrari, who worked along with Ms. Jones for years to make sure that we could get this passage today. So to Rachel, to Tisha, but most of all to Dakota and every other young child that we will spare the damages of lead by passing this piece of legislation, I vote in the affirmative. Thank you, Madam President.